Assalamualaikum Gambia, this is Fine TV Gambia, your only viewpoint, and I am your host Raki Jallo. On your educational show, issues on educational development, which comes your way on Fine TV Gambia. Here today with me, I have a sister that I've always wanted to showcase on my show, and it has not been able to materialize. But Alhamdulillah, today, on the first day of Ramadan, I have Aisha here with me to have a chat on issues on educational development. And before I go any further, I would like to wish esteemed viewers Ramadan Mubarak. May we witness the end of Ramadan until we tell each other Eid Mubarak. And we witness many more Ramadans, inshallah, in good health. Aisha, I will let you introduce yourself and tell our viewers who Aisha is. You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for inviting me to
Yes.
Fine TV.
Mhm.
And as she just said, I am Isatou Secka. Isatou be Secka by the way, official, but commonly known as Aisha Secka.
All right.
And then Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem.
Mhm.
May we witness many more to come. May Allah accept our good
Allahumma
deeds, our
amin.
fastings, and forgive us our sins.
Allahumma amin.
And then may we also, as she said, wish each other Eid. And I know the
Amen.
Gayans and the Jubans are actually waiting for that day.
They are.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much for having me, Raki.
Oh,
Thank
this
you.
is a moment that I've always wanted. I've yearned for it. I've prayed for it, and today, Alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
because I like showcasing strong women that have contributed
Oh.
at least in some little way in the education sector. And I know you're one of those strong women that I know. I have a circle. It's not big, but I have strong women in my circle. So she's one of those strong women, and a whole lot of them that are watching us. We thank you for your viewership, and you please be patient with us on the little interaction we are coming to have. Isa, before we go any further, I would like you to give us a rundown of your educational background, who Isa is, and the schools you've attended, one after the other, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Raki. And
Yes.
she's just been generous. I am just one of the little people right behind there.
Yeah.
So I born and raised in the Gambia.
Mhm.
And as for the lower basic schools that I've attended, I can't even count because we used to move a lot.
Mhm.
Just like you, I during your
Yes.
book launching when you said, I'm like, okay, that's my twin right there. So I think I attended Bakau New Time, I attended Mohammedan, I attended Latir Kunda Sabiji Lower Basic School,
Mhm.
and then I think, yeah, and then I completed my lower basic school at St. Charles Lowanga Lower Basic School.
Mhm.
Then we moved to Abuko Upper Basic School where we just have this master moving and all that.
Okay.
And then also after that, I went to Masro Senior Secondary School where I finished.
Mhm.
And upon completing, I went to UTG
Mhm.
to do my bachelor's degree in development
Studies.
yes, and then a master's in UTG as well.
All right.
And then I proceeded to Ohio University for my doctorate degree.
Mhm.
But I think, of course, a lot of people sometimes will go to other institutions to do their masters. But I was lucky, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I became the first Gambian to attain admissions directly into a PhD whose education system has entirely been in the Gambia or has been in the Gambia. So that shows like
Yeah.
we can make it and it can
Yeah,
happen.
we can. We
Yes.
can. We have a robust system.
Yes.
Like people don't have to look down, look low upon our education system.
Right. Mhm.
It's taking place. It is taking people to places.
Places,
It
yes.
is making people. So this is a manifestation that the education system of the Gambia can go places.
Right.
As far as America,
Mhm.
the mighty America. Wow. So, Aisha, that being said, that's a clear rundown of your academic career. Um, I know you do teach, right? What is the teaching feel like?
Well, it is. I always say, everything in life is what you make out of it.
Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
If I and I always say too is the mindset. When you think or you feel it is too difficult, it is difficult. But when you feel it is easy, or you can actually put life in it or create life out of it,
Yes.
it will also be. So to me, the education system, or educating or teaching,
Being a
is
teacher,
like,
yeah,
it's fun.
it's fun.
Because I can remember where I was just jumping when I was in IOU. I'm always in a haste to be told a teacher is absent, so that I will get out of my office and go into the class. Because I think if I could describe it in my life, it's my kingdom. I
Yes.
feel myself. I feel
You're
like,
comfortable doing it.
yes, it is where I feel this is me.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a passion.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, teaching is that profession that if you're not passionate about, you might not be able to do.
Right.
That's why I tell my fellow teachers always that you have to be passionate with what you do. You have to like what you do, because if you don't like teaching, I don't think you will be a good teacher.
Exactly.
So everybody that you see in the teaching fraternity loves to teach. They love the interaction that they have with their students. That is what keeps them going. It is one of those things that keeps us going as teachers. So it's very, very important. And again, I know being a teacher is not easy, right? But if there were any challenges that you face, if there were any, because I know there might be. So if there were any challenges that you must have faced in the teaching field, how did you manage them and how did you overcome them as a teacher, as an educator?
Sometimes it's like the understanding the demographic composition of the class that you're teaching, which is sometimes very important. And I'm not sure if a lot of us take note of it, but it is something that can really help us, knowing who we are dealing with, at least a little bit about them.
Yeah.
So before I get into a class, I'm always scared. I don't know who I'm going to meet. But being an English teacher, the first classwork that I always do is write a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir.
Or write a little bit about your family. Because that would give me at least a heads up as to who I am
they
dealing
are.
with, who they are, or what. Or write about your brother or your sister.
Yeah.
So this is like questions that I might not just come to ask them directly, but reading them, it's like at least I have a little bit of a background. And of course, as a teacher too, having a little bit of a personal touch
Yes.
with your students in the classroom is important, and that is an avenue. So before I start, there's always a problem. I'm like, who am I going to deal with? But once I get in, that also gives me a way. The other thing is like, you know, sometimes we have people who just love to teach, and my mom is a teacher.
Yes, I know.
And she owns a school, and I just want to be in the teaching field. So when I applied as they call it. I always put it quote unquote unqualified teachers.
Yes.
So we were kind of myself and the Playman Marinas and the Usman Jazz. When we were teaching, by the way, it's just a window.
Yes.
It was like sometimes it's a little bit, you guys are unqualified teachers. But then at some point, they might be on paper, they've not gone to the college, but might want to share the little thing that they know. So that kind of stereotype as to, okay, unqualified teacher. Even if you do things, I qualify it more.
Yeah.
So it's like the civilian and the soldier thing. So that too happens in the education system. So which people like us, loving to stand for ourselves, always don't call me that name. So
yeah, I know.
What?
That's it.
Yeah.
Like that unqualified thing is not even something that we should even stress on, or we should even look low upon people for, because being qualified and being not qualified does not hold much water if the person that teaches knows stuff and has the stuff to deliver and knows how to deliver, because teaching is a professional job.
Yeah.
Not everybody that knows stuff can deliver.
No.
So being able to deliver is what matters. If the person is being able to deliver accordingly, I think that person can stand a chance in the teaching field. Exactly. Not just the person that knows.
Right.
And it's not just you knowing, but knowing how to deliver. Yes, and having the certificate. But you have to be able to deliver. That is what teaching is all about. I said, that being said, what are the success stories that you can recount? in the teaching field? What makes you proud in the teaching fraternity? Because there are things that keeps us going, as I said.
It's the lives that we've taught.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you deal with people you don't even know that you've impacted in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and then sometimes they reach out to say certain things that's like wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a like just sitting back and seeing some of these people that I've taught
Mm-hmm.
being in sectors,
Mm-hmm.
and almost luckily for me also most of them are teachers,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm always so
Proud of.
yes, because I'm like okay, you're also giving back,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing someone and knowing that you've contributed a little bit into their life,
Mm-hmm.
and they're also contributed to someone else's life is just
Yeah.
so fulfilling. Even
Yeah.
if you didn't get the money,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so fulfilling
It
because
is.
I always term it as a Muslims will say, sadaqatul jariyah,
Mm-hmm.
like a sadaqah that will just continue.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I have one Vasco Carvalho.
Mm-hmm.
I always mention his name because there was one point in time when I left St. Vincent Peña Secondary School to work with IOU.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people told me certain things that he wasn't cooperating in class.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to leave my job one afternoon and just went to go to the school to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went, we had this discussion in a hot sun in the center of the field because I didn't want anyone to hear it. So that too also when we are advising, sometimes I was even the people that are in our lives, even our kids, let us find that safe space, advise them with respect.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was the change of his life until
Yeah.
one day, some few months ago, when I read on Facebook, he wrote about me,
Mm-hmm.
telling me that day was the
It
turning
was
point of
turning
his
point for
entire life.
him. Yeah.
So it's like, Madam, you remember this day when you left your job, and he recounts everything.
Everything.
So I was like, and he said something, I forgot, but he said, I told him that some people are out there
Mm-hmm.
smoking cannabis, using these drugs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They lacked one thing, having someone to show
To
them
show
or
them the way.
to show them the way and
Mm-hmm.
tell them how important
And
they
they
are in
are,
our society and in our
yeah,
generation.
guidance.
Said that was what you showed me,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what happened.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the most fulfilling part,
Mm-hmm.
seeing
Mm-hmm.
people succeed, seeing
Yeah.
people be something else, and knowing that alhamdulillah, I didn't do anything but just the little talk. Maybe I didn't have the monies at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's the impact. That's the impact that we all are proud of
right.
in the lives of the people that we have interacted with.
Mm-hmm.
You might not know the
Magnitude.
magnitude
Mm-hmm.
of what you've done to somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
Like they see you as a role model.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my students always, it's not just me coming to class and talking. There is a hidden curriculum. The hidden curriculum is what matters most.
Right.
That hidden curriculum where you come into class, these students are studying you, your behavior, the way you talk, the way
Right.
you walk, the way you carry yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is
Everything.
copied. You know it or not. They emulate you.
Right.
They look up to you as a role model. That alone is something that we impact in their lives unknowingly.
Right.
So in the end, when they show gratitude, you'll start reflecting on how did I impact?
Yes.
And that is what you just recounted here.
Mm-hmm.
You served as a guide. You served as a guardian counselor to somebody that was almost leading astray.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point in life, we are all bound to make mistakes.
Right.
We are all bound to have setbacks, or we are all bound to reach at crossroads where we'll be confused and we might not know where to lead, the road to take. And you need that tap on the back. You need someone to show you the way,
Right.
to show you the light from whatever you were experiencing.
Right.
And then that will serve as a turning point in your life that you will forever hold gratitude for that person. You will forever be grateful for that person coming into your life to impact. So that is just to say, to summarize, that we impact a lot. And that is why I wanted you to say something on the
Right.
success stories. And that aside, Isa, again, I think we can look into you as a student leader. I know you are a student leader. Before I forget, how is it like to be a student leader before we talk about other issues? Because I have a big topic that I want to raise. But before we go into that, let's do a little chit chat about being a student leader, because I know you are a very strong leader.
Not really.
And being a woman and being a student leader in America is something huge for me. I look up to you in so many ways.
Oh, subhanallah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am the president of the International Students Union at Ohio University.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, last week, I was just elected as the vice president
Mm-hmm.
of the National Homes Council of the American Association for Colleges of Teacher Education,
Mm-hmm.
which is like in the whole US.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That is huge.
yes, and it's dedicated to Gambia. Because
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. I couldn't have done it without the
Mm-hmm.
people who believed in me. Of course, my uncle Samba. I
Yeah,
always make mention of him because
Sambaba.
it's like, yeah, it's like he when you always you tell him, for
Mm.
example, I want to jump, he will never ask whether you can. Also, he will just ask how high.
How high?
Yes, and
That's it.
then that is it. So it's like the people behind me
Mm-hmm.
and having that supportive
They have the faith in you.
environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people having faith in me,
Mm-hmm.
and we always have self-doubt,
Yeah.
but like having that understanding that we can always do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this the world as a puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a part, a piece of me is a part of that puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
If I get it wrong, that puzzle will never be beautiful again.
No.
And if I do a little bit, I can also fit into that puzzle and
Mm-hmm.
make it more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I always see myself, and that's how I carry myself.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being a Gambian
Mm-hmm.
and also a Muslim woman,
Mm-hmm.
because there's already this thinking that as Muslims, once we wear the hijab, once we are
Yeah.
in the veil, we should be behind.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we need to change the narrative
Mm-hmm.
that if you see sometimes, for example, I will just take Islam, like the hadith that we always narrate or we always the imams use was transmitted by a woman, that is Aisha
Mm-hmm.
radiallahu anha.
Okay.
She's one of the people in Islam who knows most of the hadiths. And the
Mm-hmm.
Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, um, if anything is missing or if you don't know anything or you have questions when it comes to the deen, go to Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen by
By
accident.
accident.
It means she was empowered by
Mm.
someone.
Yeah.
So it's like carrying that message silently that we need to empower our women.
Women. Mm-hmm.
And then they can be whatever they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes a little push.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you work with the team, but also you have an identity to protect.
Mm-hmm.
You have also an image that is being African, being Gambian.
Mm-hmm.
It's never, sometimes it's not easy being African, being a hijabi, being all that combining all together in one. But it's like we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Our systems, our education systems have prepared us.
Mm-hmm.
Our cultures, our families have prepared us.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to be this example
Mm-hmm.
to many that if Aisha can do it, you can do more.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why there are some girls will come, Auntie Aisha or Aisha, I want to be like you. I'm like, no, you cannot be like me. You can be more than me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do it, a lot of people can do it. So
Yeah.
it's like juggling things up, but also having that family who will help.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom is really helping.
Mm-hmm.
I left my kids here. My kids are still here. Two of them, two girls. I'm a mother of two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like having that society, that family that believes in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that keeps me going. So I think everything that I've achieved is not particularly me. It's the people around me.
It's a teamwork.
Yes, the teamwork, the executive members that I am working with,
Mm-hmm.
they are the ones that made me who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not me per se.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Always
Yeah.
in every leadership role, you see yourself progressing and prospering. You must have a backbone. Those people that will be pushing you and that would make you not to relent in your duties and that would be ready to step in
Right.
whenever you cannot, whenever you are occupied somewhere, whenever you have other engagements.
Mm-hmm.
Those people also deserve a tap on the back because you, like you said, no man is an island.
Yeah.
No one can do it all by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a whole village
Mm-hmm.
to build someone.
And
So
I just want to mention one thing. Like
all
I have
right,
a
go
house
ahead.
help,
Mm-hmm.
and I also sometimes also associate my success to her because I'm like, without her, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I, even while I was in the Gambia, I
Mhm.
go to events, I go to conference, like meetings also till
Mhm.
12 a.m. also.
Mhm.
She'll be the ones to stay with the kids.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have, So there are some people that I want us to change this mindset that
Mm-hmm.
even the one collecting your garbage is so important in your life.
Everybody's important.
Everybody is important.
Everybody is
So
equally
it's
important.
like they are the ones that make you, and they are the ones who make you to be who you are. So every award or everything that you receive, just reflect on those people.
Those people that were
it's
your
like
support system.
they are the ones, not you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made you.
Yes.
Yeah, you are who made you.
Right.
That's true. So without the help and support of people that are close to you and they are surrounded by you, you cannot make it.
Exactly.
You alone cannot be everywhere all by yourself.
Right.
Without you having someone supporting you at the back.
Right.
Because you need to leave your kids with people. You need to leave your responsibilities and duties with people. Like you have a leadership role in America. You left that duty and you're here on your vacation. But they're doing stuff behind your back.
Right.
Without them, you wouldn't have been comfortably okay doing things, running your errands and everything.
Right.
So always teamwork. Teamwork is important. It is just to throw light on what she said, that no man is an island. Whatever leadership role you're holding, as whatever portfolio you are occupied in, just know that everyone is important. To just jump from that question now to go into something Gambian, I would like you to throw light on the usage of books. You know me, I like talking about books. I'm a person. I'm very passionate about books. Yes, for the fact that I am a writer, I like people talking about books. So for the fact that we use books that are of foreign nature, what is your take on that? You think it's something that we should look into as a sector, or we should continue look like just mixing foreign and Gambian books? Do you think it's causing more harm than good in the literary space?
It can be a yes and a no at the same time, and it depends.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, when we're talking about books, we need to look at what is guiding those books. Where are those books coming from? We have the education policy. What does the education policy say? You know, sometimes it's like defining the what, the who, the how, and even the when at some point and the where.
Yeah.
So the education that we are offering, for example, what education are we offering, or what do we want to offer? You know, just like getting the books out before we even get to the books. Like, what education do we want to offer? That is going down to the curriculum. The education for who? So it means like talking about educations that reflect our realities. And of course, that is where it comes in to say the foreign and the national or the local. So in this, for example, in the Gambia, we tend to think ne, kunyu gena janga mo gena lan tubabe, o wale kunintan told, as we always say, forgetting that karangwan kuningo o janga ak ewo duñ ben. You can be gifted to have both. You cannot be gifted, you might have one or the other. So it's like the education itself, it is not helping us to be kuning or ewo, or to be aware of our society. Because Nitki, whatever you can do, do we have those educations in place that reflect our realities? Do we have the books that you know that we use examples? Like, I'm working on a research that is decolonizing of Gambia's education system using a place-based education. That's like something that we are using, like using the community, the society, to serve as examples in the lessons that we are taught. And I always ask, for example, in the science, I was doing a presentation on Thursday, and I said, these things that we learned in school, that is the amoeba and the one with
Paramecium.
the paramecium. You know, I'm still figuring where they fall into my life and my education. And I still cannot pick point. Maybe the viewers can help me in the comment section with that. I'm still waiting. You know, I still ask those questions. Like, why not we reflect
the agama lizard?
The agama lizard, for example. Yes, we are seeing lizard, and I've been taught how to. I was asked to memorize to know how to draw
label it
cockroach, and the only thing I know about a cockroach, I will see it and stamp my foot on it, and that's the end of it. So it's like, what education are we offering? What do we want to address as a country, as a nation? First, what are the problems that we are faced with? It cannot be like holistic for the next 10 years because generation change. Like, for example, now we are talking about the AI, the use of AI. How can we in fact inculcate that into our curriculums? So these are the things, like, Where do we stand as a country in the world? Where is the generation being led to? Where are we going to? Now, what do we need as a country to develop? So I think I don't want to sound political here, but our leaders also at some point we need to ask each other this hard fact. You know, I was talking to the VP. We were talking the other day, and he was like, he can raise his hand to say all his kids went to um uh, public schools and not private schools. But how many of him do we have in our government system? So it's like, I'm sorry to say, like we entrust our education system to people who might be a little bit skeptic. I don't want to say it the way it is, but it's like they are also looking for an education system that addresses their need. So how about then we come as a country, we look at our education system. Raki, it is very sad that the worst exam, for example, we have 20,000 or more sitting for the worst
Students,
annually. Only 5 to 600 will be able to, quote unquote, get university admission, be able to get that. What happens to the 19,500 or the 19,000?
Bigger share.
You know, we are like, we need to be serious about what we are talking about. So the books that we are using, are they even in line with our curriculum?
It's a good question.
You know, what are the examples in those books? You know, there should be a department of what? Instructional design. That is, yes, we have the curriculum, but designing the lessons as per what needs to be done is also important, as per how they are to be broken down and be taught by grades or by class or by lessons. How and who are the teachers who are going to teach them? What is the knowledge? What are their educational backgrounds? That too is important. You know, I can come and apply to the Gambia College to be able to teach SAS. What is my background? You understand? What is my passion? Or you know, am I taught enough to interact? Or am I taught enough? So it's like a bag full of issues that we can all unpack and then deal with. Of course, as we say, looking at us, there's a success story. But then we are part of the few. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like, what happens to the rest? What can we do? Books that we are using, do we have a department that sits holistically to read those books thoroughly, to understand what is the content, or what are the contents of those books? What do we have in them, and how do we, you know, contextualize it in the Gambian context? Like, for example, to the use of languages. At least we actually are working our way out into using languages. In fact, one of the things that we should have done here is what we are talking about, because it's for the people to speak it in our local languages for people to understand. But the examples that we use, like in schools, for example, mathematics. I want to believe that if mathematics is taught in the local languages, the number of passes that we will have
will be higher.
I can teach someone holistically in maths. But maybe the examples, I use all of source, my explain Koko understand. Koko them exam pass. That is what is happening in China, Singapore, and so. China and Singapore, for example, their education system. Is a country that was under developed the past 30 or something years. But now Singapore is a world-class country.
It's because of their local languages that are being used.
If they can do it right,
man,
I still believe in Gambia we can do it right.
We can. And I think we are moving towards the direction. So, with the advent of this maize project that is on.
Exactly.
The Wolof is being piloted in certain schools.
Right.
We did the baseline already.
Oh.
At the level of MOPSE. The baseline is done. And I think there will be a midline and an end line where they will see, because it's the pilot phase for now. I think it will materialize.
Hopefully.
They're starting with Wolof, and I think other local languages will also kick in.
Right.
Inshallah.
So also the other thing is for parents also to start speaking the local languages to the kids. We tend to think that when you get a janga laka angale, when you get a neka stop there also, which is actually not the thing. So we need to also expose our kids to the understanding of speaking a lot of languages, so that when we see some of the examples in the books also, we will not like see it as something civilized and you uphold taking our local down. That is also, you know, like for example, Ali and Ame
Mm-hmm.
lives in a small house.
Mm-hmm.
They have their father and their mother,
Mm-hmm.
in a small house. That is like a nuclear family.
Yes.
You're in Gambia, a nuclear family. What could see you?
It doesn't work here.
We don't even if we have it, we have our extended. Why not, get examples in the books that will reflect
Yes.
what is
What
happening
what
now.
is happening?
Exactly.
Our extended families where we cook our mbahal
Our
now.
mbahal suñ boole ñu toog lekkuñ ci table. We sit.
We don't have a dining.
Aha.
We put our basins in the lawn for
Yeah,
everybody to
for
come
everybody to
to
come.
surround the ball and eat.
Exactly.
That's the culture we know.
That's our culture. But do you
Yes.
know that culture also has lessened the suicide rate, for example?
Mm-hmm.
Because at least you also whatever you have, but I'm alone and maintenance that beautiful.
At
The
least.
mere fact that we sit and
Together.
we chit chat,
Mhm.
that could help. But I'm
Yeah, it
alone
helps.
that individual lifestyle, they can't deal with it.
Yeah.
There's suicide.
Yeah, they're
So we need to
suicidal.
embrace the positives that our culture, our environment, our locals, have impacted in our lives, and then use those as examples for us to uphold to them. If not, we will lose. And mind you, like I always say, since I'm travel, I've become stateless a little because bokuma fi, bokuma fale.
Yeah. That is
When
what
you
it
come
does.
to Gambia, they see you as someone different. When you go there, people
Yes.
still see you as
Someone different, you know where.
So let us start, accepting,
Embracing
embracing, and
yes,
even
our
in our
identity.
education systems.
Our identity.
Yes.
It's very, very important. You know, balanga ne nam nekapa.
Wow.
Like you have to assume who you are, your identity. Like we just discussed off camera, you have to build your brand. You have to represent something.
Exactly.
So us representing the Gambia, it has to be Gambian.
Yeah.
If you're Gambian, it has to be Gambian.
Right.
So that is just to wrap up that chapter of talking about books, and then I think we can discuss a little bit about um, the impact of the society in the education system. What role do they need to play? Like, I think we have a long way to go when it comes to parenthood, like all the stakeholders putting hand on deck to see to it that the education sector is working as we plan it, as we want it, as we wish for it to be. Because it's like some aspects of the stakeholders are lagging behind. Not everyone is contributing. Like we're all trying though, everybody is trying, but I think there is a gap.
Okay.
Yes.
So basically, in fact, I am here. The purpose of me being in the Gambia is I came with the Nyame Foundation as part of the U.S. delegates for the National Teachers Award, which we concluded last
Just
week.
last week, yeah.
Yes, but then as part of the activities, I came to also do some presentations or workshops on school, community, and family engagement, and that falls right into your question. It's like, how can we integrate school, community, and family in attaining quality education in the Gambia? Because I always say every school is part of a community, and every community member is from a family.
Yes.
So it's like we can't disintegrate this.
We cannot unmarry them.
They are all in, and these kids going to those schools are from the same community that the school is in. So it's like as in Mandinka Babula Julola Julobula Bala Abe Mukilinet. So how do we put these things together? What is the role of the school?
Yeah.
The school is to provide conducive learning environment, teaching methods that will help and that's aligned to the kids, cognitive development. I did a presentation or a workshop this couple of days, and I asked some questions, and it's like, where do we go from here? And again, remember we said education for what and for who. Since it is for the people, why can't we bring the school into the community and the community into the school? The school, as I said, serve as a safe environment, serve as a model for proper teaching and learning, and then the community, it's there to also provide resources, and also to create that avenue for the school to um, uh, flourish. Because the reason why we also had some issues with some schools in certain communities is because the community members don't receive the schools. So again, the families, because the kids going to the school are from the families. So the family should also create that learning environment in the home. But they cannot also, if the school do not also tell them how important it is for that education. Remember, we've not gotten to that level as Gambians yet to say everybody knows the value of education. Yes, it is. But also, we have people who still believe that even the Sarahole people who are not educated are doing well than us. Like for you, for example, you've been to school, you are teaching. What do you have? The man in that Haidara
Community.
community is more rich than you.
Yes. They're
and
more
then,
established.
Yes, they're more established, and he has not been to school.
That's the lens they use in
That's
looking
the
at
lens.
things.
So it is also the responsibility of the school to bring that back. So it's like these three needs to come together. These three needs to be put together. Like for example, the career mentoring. We have enough people. For example, if Mindao Senior Secondary School should organize a career day, I don't think they need to invite Raki all the way in Banjulende or the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education all the way wherever
from
she
Banjul.
is. But we have enough people
in this
in the community here
Farato.
who can come and share their stories,
Who can impact, yes.
Who can serve as examples. But also, do we reduce our community elders and our community members only when we have events? Imam Kainganya, or we have guests. You guys need to come and attend the event. Or do we call them? And it's like, since we are in your community, we are here, we are in partnership. We have this issue. How do we tackle it? How do we solve it? How do we come together?
It's a good question.
Right? So, do we just say, sometimes schools will say, we have the PTA. Yes, we have the PTA. But when do we call the PTA? Only when there are issues, when we want to tell them information. But do we open the doors to the PTAs to come and also ask us questions? To come and also, see what we are doing. Or the Mothers Club, for example. Do we just reduce them to cook for us? Luncheon sale lebijan. Alna mako ngana ebel tabi. These are women who have a lot to offer. They can use the school garden to even bring resources to the school and for themselves. These are community members who have a lot to offer. Remember, I said, maybe some of them are not educated. In fact, some of them are. But they know a lot. We could tap into their wisdom. We could tap into their experience to make our schools better.
Very well.
Right? You again look at parents sitting at home, labeling and naming schools. School Bibao, this school Mambetia, this school Mambetia. How many times, Raki, as a teacher, have you received a parent to come to your class and say, I've come to see how well
the
my
progress
child is
of my child? Very rare.
Very rare.
Very rare.
And then we blame the school. You understand? How far or how many times do the a teacher call a parent to say your child has not been coming to school, or this and this and this is wrong? It's actually wrong with your child. I've seen this change of behavior. How do you think we can fix it? Because in as much as the child is at home, the child also is always at school about 8 hours or more during the day. So it's like they should come in as in Mandinka for us to attain the education that we want to attain. But we cannot attain any education that we think we can attain, even if it is quality, if we don't put all these things together. The government might have said, yes, we build schools. But the schools alone are not what we need. We need the rehabilitation of attitudes, the mindset, the concept about how we see Gambia, the curriculum, So these are most of the things that we can tap from the community, tap from the families to come together and make it work.
Yeah.
So, but if the kids are just going to school, you don't even know where the school is located, or you don't even know the subjects. You don't even know what they do. The school don't even know you. You don't even know the school. And then the kids are the victims in between.
They are always.
Then we are failing them. We are failing them. So let us start to inculcate this concept that we need to work together because we are all partners in this. And if one fails, the other one is going to fail.
Of course.
So yeah, that is what I have to say when it comes to school, community, and family engagement. It's like a lot.
Yeah.
But I just want to
just narrowed it down. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
This topic itself, this question that I just asked itself, can serve as a whole topic of discussion all by itself with multiple personnel talking about it, and we will not exhaust the ideas in it. But that is just to summarize the whole thing and to emphasize the fact that community school engagement is something that is necessary.
Right.
We need to highlight it, reinforce it, emphasize it, sensitize the communities, sensitize everyone that it's important. They be part and parcel of the school engagements. And let the school also not be marginalizing the communities, even though, like you said, some communities are not welcoming when it comes to Western education. They are not welcoming. That it's like our doors are closed for you people. This is Nasaran la, like jangi Nasaran mom moy lolu. Ikata bandi yale karang. That's how they label us. But that should not relent us in trying to approach and building bridges and looking for ways and means of trying to embrace each other, to show them that this is a way forward. Yes, it's Nasaran, it's Tuwabu Karango and whatever we call it. But it's what builds their career, it's what builds their knowledge, and it's what builds it's a foundation, it's a building block for them to be somebody better.
Right. Or in fact, there are some communities where there's only morning shifts, right?
Yes.
Most communities, in fact. Some communities, maybe some schools in some communities have some spare class. I always say, in order for you to get what you want, you need to give people what they want. You understand? If you are in a community like Kataba or Mandao, my father's village. Yeah, I always call it my father's village because he was born there. I wasn't born there. But still, it is my village.
Yes.
Yeah, jokes aside.
Yes.
If we believe in Quranic education, why not allow the community to use those classes in the afternoon before we close those classes down? And so when the kids come in the morning, have their conventional education, in the afternoon,
allow the madrasas.
What you know, sometimes it's kind of difficult.
Yes.
But sometimes it is like, in order for you to get what you want, you need to give people what they want. Like, find value and show value in what they believe in
for you to cooperate.
And
cohabit.
Good. But you cannot just come and then we have our teachers, you know, they talk in with their neckties and everything. And in that community, we wear chaya. And then that is, and it goes like, I don't want to pinpoint on people, I'm sorry. But you cannot be called to an interview on a national TV to talk about people. It's all back to our education.
Yes.
You wear suit and coat and you tie. That doesn't reflect us.
Tie in our heat.
Yes, in this heat. You know, or you go to communities, you want to talk to them. You know, even in schools, you want to talk to the community members. You are in your suit and your tie and all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like this community.
You want to show them that you're superior.
Yes, this community, you know, even if you are not. But sometimes in our, like you said, behaviors, attitudes,
it's a hidden curriculum.
It's a hidden curriculum.
Yes.
And it's a hidden implication.
Hidden agenda.
Or it's actually a hidden manifestation of maybe what, even if you don't
intend it.
Even if you don't intend it.
Yes.
So even when we go down to this community, still talking about school, community, and family engagement, how we even dress, how we even put ourselves together. You know, I'm not saying we should be wearing the haftans like the ustazes, no. But when you go into the community, you know, having that assessment of knowing the who. You know, the message you are carrying is for who.
It's for who.
And how do you translate it is important. But if you come and then you wear whatever and you know, it doesn't work. And the same thing with the schools and the teachers and everything. So it's like, How do we come
How do
together?
we cooperate?
Besides, I'm not my brothers. I'm sorry, I'm not picking on you, but so
That's true. That's true. It's funny.
yes,
It's funny to think of, but it's the hard fact. We are stating facts here. Jokes aside, it's the truth.
yes,
Like if you go to a community and you want to belong, like they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans. You want to belong to a certain degree. There has to be a certain pedestal. There has to be a certain level that you have to climb
right,
down the ladder. No matter what education you must have encompassed,
right,
no matter what knowledge you must have carried in your head, you have to belong. And for you to belong, you have to come down to their level. And just coming down to their level doesn't mean you have to play dumb and stupid. No, what you need to do is you have to appear as they appear for them to embrace you. You have to accept their values, accept their beliefs, accept their culture, their norms. It's very important. Those norms is what they believe in.
yes,
And no matter who you are, they look at you as a disbeliever of their norms.
that shapes them.
It
So
shapes
you
them.
cannot disrespect
Yeah,
that.
so you cannot come to them. I would just reflect on a certain documentary that I watched on CNN. Christian Amampo was in Afghanistan as a journalist. In Afghanistan, you cannot be accepted if you're not in your veil. The Christian Amampo we know is not Muslim. She does not wear hijab. She does not wear anything Muslim. But for her to fit into a Muslim society, a conservative Muslim society for that matter, she has to appear like they're appearing for them to accept her, for her to have the information from them that she needed from them. That is just so to show that us that are in our communities to teach, us that are in our communities to do whatever, community outreach, anything, be it health or whatever, we have to reflect on how we enter, how we interact, how we integrate, and for us to cohabit with them. Because sometimes you're posted at the community, you stay long in that community. And for you to relate to them, for you to cohabit, as I put it, you have to appear in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's not just you appearing anyhow you want to appear. You wear your tights, you wear your shorts and the like. You might be called an outcast, or you'll be requested to be moved out. I know of people that the communities themselves will act for that
Really?
person to be moved.
Oh wow.
Yes, because to some extent you're showing them that you and them are not on the same level. You're showing them that you are Tubab. Who is Tubab here? We're all Gambians. You were educated from Gambia College. You go to a community, you want to be unruly. What will they do? They go to the highest authority and they ask you out because they don't need you in their communities. That is just to show that we need to do more as Gambians. We need to think out of the box in certain way for us to know that there are certain things that they play in our heads. They are not factual. They are not the real. They are not realistic. So for us to live in a realistic world, we have to think realistic and then be realistic and act realistic. To wrap up our conversation, Aisha, we're running out of time and we're in Ramadan. What do you think is the way forward for the education sector?
There are many ways forward, and I think our ministry has done a lot of work, and it's like first it's understanding who the key players are in the education system, stakeholders, for example,
Yeah.
and the teachers. Because I've interacted with some teachers and I asked the education policy, and it's like they've not seen it. Some said they interacted with it when they had assignments, So it's like, if that is the case, then I think there's a need for each school to have a copy of the education policy, have a session a day, and review it. Maybe a day or two or three, because I think it can't be in a day.
Yeah, it cannot be that.
You understand?
It's a big
Yeah, it's
volume.
like, because they are the ones who will implement it. Although at the ministry level they implement, but it's the teachers, because it's the education. They're the ones in the class,
They
right?
are.
And also,
They need to know.
yes, we also train the teachers. But after your PTC and your HTC, is there any supplementary training annually? or every annually or every camp
Capacity
also
building.
capacity buildings,
Mm-hmm.
building their capacities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes too it's like they go all out to go to UTG, IOU to do their degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But what else do we offer them aside that?
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
At least because not everything that they learn during their HTC, PTC,
Mm-hmm.
they can carry it along every day.
No.
So it's like having those mechanisms in place. I know it's a lot. We
Mm-hmm.
are moving as a sector, as a country, but we can also like do that.
Mm-hmm.
The management also, the school management. Like, what are the criteria of choosing a school manager? That is a school principal.
Mm-hmm.
And I could remember um, doing an assignment and where I'm like, all educators or everyone posted,
Mm-hmm.
there should be at least a session, an
Mm-hmm.
orientation session when the
Mm-hmm.
postings are out.
Out, yeah.
That is all regional offices
Mm-hmm.
should organize some orientation sessions for teachers so that teachers might not just report directly to the communities,
Mm-hmm.
but the orientation at that office would be like giving them an overview, a heads up
Mm-hmm.
about what to expect,
Yes.
what the
What those communities are like.
are like,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can know how to
Mm-hmm.
mold themselves or
Mm-hmm.
how to at least amalgamate themselves into those communities. But also, when we say they don't know the communities also, but was there anyone who told them,
Who inducted them?
who inducted them? These things are important.
They're
I know
needed.
it's a lot of work.
Yes.
But I mean, we are
But it's
paid
just
to work.
yes, it's just to consider it and
We are paid to work.
start doing work. On it.
We are paid to work. Let us start doing those work. Like, whoever is posted, irrespective of who you are, go to the office. Let's have this thing a day. It is investing in the teachers, but of course, the rate of return is more than what is being invested. So come together, inform them about the communities, about where they are going to be and what to expect, and then that can help. The other thing, not only as a sector, as a country, I have this opportunity, and I could say it here. The main thing hindering the development of our country is breakfast. Ndewo, that's amo. I'm so sorry to say, I'm glad we are in Ramadan. At least nobody will say, Manye ndewo, nkata that's amo. No, it's like
It's funny, but it's the truth.
it's the truth.
I had the experience.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't want to act personal here, but I kind of hate breakfast in my head because of our syndrome, and I actually cut it out of my, because I'm fearful or I'm scared that if I eat, I might not be I might not do anything during the day. So you understand, like, you sign a time that is 8 or 8:30 to 4. How many of us will stay in the office after 4? In fact, by 3:30, we've all packed our bags. We are ready to go. There are times it's high time we start looking at things. No, everyone is ready to go. Even if someone comes at 4, at 3:40, I'm going home. But forgetting that you've spent almost 2 to 3 hours. Mangendewo, kata karanka dasa mosak, ngendem rang, ngendendewo. Rang be like, how many minutes that they cost? Don't be
can take you 1 hour.
Jende kind they will be. Group nyoy them, what time see you You understand? The chit chat. When you come, Bahal TV, Defar TV, Togat. I mean, this is affecting us, and it's high time we talk about these things. You understand? You sign a time. If the government is paying you and there's no butut that comes out of your pay, then you should not also lessen a minute out of your pay, talk less of a second. Let us call it as it is. But you see, everybody demand. It is our responsibility. I'm not going to say your. It is our responsibility. When we know we are going to go to work, my friend, my brother, my sister, even me, if I should catch a flight, I will make sure I am on time. So why are we not on time, irrespective of the traffic and everything? You understand? We all go out at the same time because we know our bosses are lenient also. But again, also, Raki, if you have a house help, a maid, for example, and she's always late, we are the very part of her always upset. or you call your mason or the carpenter. You serious? Sayumako oye dunyo. Anytime I call them, abukana. But your work calls you every day at 8 a.m. Are you always there?
Mm-hmm.
How many excuses do you take? I sent a message to someone to do something for me while I was in the US, and it's like it's 12. It was 12 in the Gambia.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm going to a colleague's naming ceremony. I'm like, oh, so the whole day is wasted. Call me tomorrow. So you understand? We really need to take our country not for a ride,
Mm-hmm.
but as serious individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And know that that money that we are spending, especially if you are working in the government, that money or that minute that you slack, you have the entire Gambia to answer to
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, irrespective of what your role is. Let us start having this even for, and then as teachers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are educators, as you said, the hidden curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
If you are coming to work every day late,
Mm-hmm.
coming to class every day late, or coming to class unprepared, what are you teaching? That goes back to the hidden curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ndewo attitude. If you know you are someone who takes Ndewo, buy your stuff, prepare yourself some breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and then you
pack
eat
it.
or pack it before you leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go. Know that from that 8:30 or that 8 a.m. to that 4 p.m., you don't own your time anymore. You've sold it out
Mm-hmm.
to the salary that you are receiving at the end of the month. When government slack down a little bit on salaries at the end of the month, when it is Tobaski or Korite or what, everybody complains.
Everybody.
But have you ever sat down and asked, have my boss or have the government ever complained about me coming to work late or me always taking excuses being absent?
Mm-hmm.
So we should be serious about what we are doing. Mm-hmm. We should be passionate about what we are doing. Mm-hmm. And hopefully as a country we might change. But unless we change the Ndewo syndrome, the Dasamo syndrome.
Ndewo syndrome. And that is everywhere, you know. It's in all sectors, not just education.
No! Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Even
you go to the bank, even the bank, you go there, they tell you, it's breakfast time, so you need to wait.
There will be some online. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you are a human being, I don't know how the language came, but if they named that thing out of something, I mean, you're more Torah. So please, let us find a way.
That is a good note to end our conversation on. But before we conclude, Aisha, if there are any final remarks you need to make or any thank you messages you need to send to someone, people that are your support system, I would call it, people that are supporting you, anyone that you need to name to thank, you can do so.
First, it's my mom.
I knew. That's why I brought this up.
Right. My mom, we have for, making me believe into myself. And she's the first lady also being educated in an entire extended family.
Yeah.
So, thanking her for all the support and of course everyone in Ohio University. And last night I was thanking someone, that was Mr. Lamin Jaju. When I was invited, I'm like, I don't even know. It's like, okay, you could come and we could actually invite you and write a formal invitation. I'm like, okay, and that was it. And the Patton College of Education, Ohio University. So they made sure that I came and I contributed positively to my community, giving back, and it's like they funded everything, not me, so they deserve to be thanked. And my friend sister Hadinjai, Dr. Hadinjai, she was a special place, and then she knows Uncle Samba, Dr. Samba now, Dr. Samba.
Congrats.
So congratulations once again for defending your dissertation.
Yes.
The Gambian community, Fine TV for helping us out, and a lot more. Dr. Suso, there are people whom you're not even related to, they believed in you.
It doesn't have to be family.
It doesn't have to be family. Dr. Saiba Suso, he made sure that I am in the US.
Wow.
And he did everything humanly possible. It's like a whole lot of people that I just can't thank, but yourselves. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. But of course, to the ladies who believed in me, don't only believe in me, believe in yourselves. Believe in yourself, especially Raki. I don't want to go personal here, but to the divorcees, you can do it.
Yeah.
with your families and everything, you can still roll back and rock back. All is not lost.
Yeah.
All is not lost, and you can be wherever you want to be. It just takes that determination for you to just push a little. So just be there for yourself, be there for your community. Know that a lot of people are looking up to you, including me and Raki here, and a lot more. So just we are hoping on to you, and you could do it. If we can do it in our little ways, you could do it more in your better ways. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Gambia. And we can build our country if only we are ready. So I want us to all to be ready. Thank you.
Wow, mashallah.